Ahoy, Minnetonka. I'm David Law, Superintendent of Minnetonka Schools. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the District Podcast, Ahoy, Minnetonka. Today we'll be talking with two dedicated women who are positive, amazing cheerleaders for the district. They support Minnetonka Schools by encouraging our community to come together as skippers, celebrating what an amazing place this is to work, live, and raise kids. Together with their teams, they put in hundreds of hours to prepare for the amazing spirit wear we have for our schools and to bolster community pride. Their efforts raise tens of thousands of dollars to support our school community each year, including support for our PTO, PTA, and student clubs and organizations at the high school. I'm so happy to have parents Katie Becker, co-chair of Tonka Pride, and Maggie Hillmer, president of the Skippers Booster Club, with me today. Ladies, thank you for being here. First, I'd love it if you'd tell us a little bit about yourselves, your families, your connection to the district. Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie Becker. My husband and I moved to the school district in 2009, and we have three kids, a recent 2023 graduate, an 11th grader.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 11th grader and a 6th grader at MME. I've been an active volunteer in our schools since moving here, starting out by joining the preschool PTA. And then Scenic Heights PTA. I've been the Scholastic Book Fair chair for years, also volunteering with Minnetonka Foundation, and then also a volunteer at the Booster Store. I'm currently in my 8th year on the Minnetonka School Board, currently serving as the clerk. And then in addition to why we're here today, I've been a volunteer with Tonka Pride since 2011, starting out as a Tonka Pride rep for the preschools, Scenic Heights, and now since 2017 been co-chair of the committee.
Nice. You know, a lot of board members start out on the PTA and get a flavor for the district and work their way up. So thank you for your service in all those capacities. Maggie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Superintendent Law. My name is Maggie Hillmer. I am the president of the Skippers Booster Club. I've been in that capacity for the last 2 years. I have been a volunteer with the Booster Club for about 5 years now. I started as a regular store volunteer and eventually just moved my way up to president, so it's been fun. My husband and I have lived in the district for about 15 years. I have 2 lovely children. My son Andy was a graduate of Minnetonka High School in 2022, and he's currently up at UMD. And my daughter Maddie is a senior.
All right, exciting here.
Yes.
So Katie, I had my first experience with Tonka Pride last year when you sort of took over the district office and put on a big sale. That's a big production, and it was, you know, I've worked in the school system for over 3 decades. I've never seen anything like that. Tell me about Tonka Pride. Where did it come from, this unique giving back relationship to PTOs and PTAs? Give us some of the details about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Tonka Pride Committee was started in 2002. It really became a goal of that school board's strategic plan and referendum committee at the time. And what that goal was to unite the community as one district instead of having all individual school kind of like competition. We're one district, Minnetonka Schools, and so that really was to unite the schools and to show our school pride. And so when we talk about school pride, what we talk about is promoting our students and staff. We talk about recognizing and awarding community leaders and students. We initiate programs to celebrate our school pride, and then we develop community awareness around Minnetonka Schools. And then that E in Pride is to engage those 9 schools, which is the preschool, our 6 elementary schools, and our middle schools. And so our schools can do that independently. Some of them have recognition programs within their schools. Fridays are typically our Tonka Pride Spirit Day, where teachers and staff will wear Tonka gear. But really one of the biggest things that we do is what you mentioned, is that sale. So we have apparel sales 3 times a year at the District Service Center. Homecoming before winter break and then spring break. And then our Tonka Pride representatives within our schools can also take their apparel and have pop-up sales at their schools, and then bring the apparel to the families during their events like back to school, open houses, conferences and even school events. And really what we are is a fundraising mechanism for those PTOs. So all of those profits from the apparel sales go back to your PTAs and PTOs, and then they use those funds in conjunction with their principals, what the needs are in their school. Field trip, kind of supplemental costs, some of them buy supplemental books for the library. There are many different ways that PTOs use it. We also, really exciting that a big fundraiser for our middle schools is our gym uniforms. Mm-hmm. So that's an animal in itself. Lots of fun to see all the uniforms that are in our schools. So that's a really exciting thing to do. And then this year we've also partnered with our district to host a sale for our specific programs, Vantage, mm-hmm. Momentum, and Tonka Online. Those programs have really gained popularity and interest. So that's a really great way for us to brand and share that community, that Tonka Pride spirit. Really showing Tonka Pride is an essential part to have successful schools. It gives staff, students, families, and a community a way to have ownership in our schools.
Well, and one of the parts that I remember from last year was that when you really coordinate all of the event, and for the PTOs, they just need to have people be represented as part of the sale, and then their school gets to share the proceeds.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our parent volunteers are the essential part of what makes up our committee.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, Maggie, I had the benefit of joining one night as you had different student groups come and share their group and their purpose, and then ask for a donation, and it was amazing. Again, I've been around a lot of high schools. I've never seen anything like that before. Tell me about the Booster Club and the Booster Store and how that all came together and your interaction with it. I think it's a fascinating concept to me.
Thank you. So the Booster Club, the history was we started in 1973. We're not exactly sure when the store came in, but a few years later. What the Booster Club does is we raise money via the store and also through memberships, and then we distribute that money to clubs, and we do that in two different ways. Monthly, during the school year at our board meetings, which you attended the one, we have the clubs or the teams come in and they give us a presentation, talk to us about what their club or team is doing, and then we give them $250. It's called the $250 Club. And then at the end of the year, once we've determined all of our finances, so how much we've sold and all of that, we have typically around $50,000 to $60,000 to also provide to the clubs and teams. So they fill out a form with Ted Schultz, and it comes back to us, and we determine who we're going to give the money to and how much we're going to give. It's typically around $1,500 around there that we give to each club. Last year we gave, it was right around $60,000 at the end of the year to approximately about 60 clubs. So with the 250 club during the year, we ended up giving up about $75,000, I want to say the number was, to all the different clubs and teams in the school, and it's awesome. It's so much fun to watch these kids come in and give their presentations. A lot of times the board is sitting in that meeting just like, you know, what did we do in high school that was like this? Yeah. I mean, these kids are incredible. They're doing such great things for the school and for the community and just people in general. They're just a great bunch of kids. So that's the joy that I know the board members and myself get out of being part of this Booster Club.
Well, and I can see from a student's perspective, you know, what a great opportunity to go to this body within our system and ask for funds generated right here on site. I mean, it shows students that parents are invested, that the community is invested. Right. So it's just such an innovative idea.
Yes.
So Katie, one of the things that I saw firsthand, and I was a recipient of through purchase, just a big variety of products. How do you stay fresh with all those things? How do you know what to have next? Because it does change every year. What does that look like, that purchasing and sort of marketing out process?
Well, we have a great parent volunteer committee group where there's 5 of us on the executive committee. We have 2 co-chairs, Stacy Vitale and myself. Joni Shimke does our pop-up sales. Matt England is our treasurer, and Amber Batten is our point of sale inventory, and we all collectively work together. We have 1 to 2 volunteers from every school. So the preschool, the 6 elementary schools, and the 2 middle schools provide volunteers, and they're called our Tonka Pride reps. And so through a collective process, we ask the questions: what do you want to see in your schools? What would design, what maybe style, product would you like to see? So we try to keep it different every year. In addition, try to keep our apparel that we sell different than the booster store. Mm-hmm. We want to have different things, different places for our families and community to go, and not always have the same gear. So it's really it's a collaboration between everybody. It is such a great group of people, really great ideas. People can see things in the community, kind of when they're out and about, and say, hey, I saw this, what do you think, can you recreate it? And we all work together.
Maggie, anything, do students play a role in any of the what happens at the high school?
Not as much. We've tried, but with their schedules and with our schedules, and because we are a volunteer-led organization as well, it's hard to coordinate that. We did have some Vantage students help us a few years ago put together our online presence through Square, and so that was great, and it worked out, and we loved that website. It's been great for us, a great moneymaker. So yeah. And as far as our buying, we actually have buyers, and they do the most work on our board for sure. I mean, these are great women, and not just the 2 or 3 that we have right now, but the people in the past. They've just done such a great job of really looking at what's happening in the fashion world, and this is a job I could never do, but they do a great job of picking out new merchandise every year. We try to keep always the basics of t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that. So
last year I was part of whiteout for the state championship hockey game, or the state tournament, and I had to do a last-minute purchase. I was happy to see that you had a pretty good selection. So that those themes must play some part in it too, or at least being aware of it.
We are trying to do better at that, and this year we at least have the plans for those games in advance. But our buying, we have to buy months in advance for what we have. So we try the best that we can do.
Sure. Maggie, Katie talked about how they use volunteers for those sales and the pop-up events. How do you staff the booster store? When is it open? Who's working it? How does that all work?
So, yep, thank you. That's a great question. And we are, again, 100% volunteer-led. The store is staffed by parent volunteers. We have a volunteer coordinator who does a great job of putting a notice out there saying, hey, we need volunteers for these shifts. We fill that schedule very well. We are open, and this is where it gets tough with the volunteers. We're open every day that Minnetonka High School is open, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So most of our volunteers, our store volunteers, have 1, maybe 2 shifts a month, and they work that same shift each month. So I think we have right around 100 volunteers for that. So it's work, and life happens to people, and so we have a great board that will fill in as necessary. We have great volunteers that whenever we need help, we put it out there, and we get great responses.
And is there business every day, or most days, some days?
Most days we have business, especially at the beginning of the year and with homecoming. That'll be very busy. Throughout the day, we mostly sell lollipops. So we have a little window right in the Commons hallway, and we sell lollipops for 25 cents. And last year we had to put a limit on the number of lollipops purchased at once. I think somebody wanted to buy us out. We weren't sure what the plan was with those, but we did put a limit. I think it's $5 in lollipops is all you can buy now. But we get a lot of kids that come up to buy their lollipops, and sometimes free candy that our volunteers bring in. And so that's mostly what we do in in the, especially in the middle of the year, it gets a little slow. But
that's impressive. A lot of high school kids aren't thrilled to have their parents on site at school, right. But it's also good for members of the community to get a feel for what life inside the high school is like in 2023.
It's awesome. I mean, that's the best part about it. My son, he always tried to skirt around the booster store. He wanted nothing to do with that. But my daughter, that's the best part. Every time I say that I'm going to be at the store, she comes right in there, brings her friends, and it's a lot of fun. And to see the kids as they walk by, if they know me, they wave. And that is for sure one of the great things about working at the booster store.
Well, one of the things for both of you, what roles are there in your organization? And if there's members of the community who are just coming on board wanting to be involved, what are some of the roles that are going to come open in the next year for people to onboard themselves into these organizations?
Well, as a parent solely volunteer committee, we're always looking for volunteers. It's a great way to get involved, meet other people. The sales at the District Service Center, you have all the schools that come together and you interact with other parents in other buildings. It is a really vibrant committee. It's really a great way to get to know people, but you can just donate 2 hours of your time during our district service sales that we have. Otherwise, we're always looking for buyers. We have 3 executive committee members that are going to actually be graduating the middle school soon, so we do need to fill those positions. Always looking for people to get involved. It's a great group of people, and we have fun together.
Maggie, how about in the boosters?
So the first volunteer spots that we always have available are just daily in the store. They are 2-hour shifts, either from 11 to 12:30 or from 12:30 to 2, so an hour and a half actually. But those are the easy ones. It's great to get in here, kind of see what's happening. We even have some 8th grade students or parents that want to come in just to kind of see how it's at the high school. Mm-hmm. But that's the start of volunteering at the booster store. And then with our club, we obviously have our club board. That we have buyers, we have the president, vice president, and actually our president, myself, and our vice president, we are aging out next year. So we will be looking for somebody to fill that, but we have several roles there that typically people move up from the volunteer position. So I would say the first thing is, and we are always looking for volunteers to fill in our spots at the store.
Awesome. Katie, I've seen the big displays, but for the public, what are some of the kinds of things that you can purchase with Tonka Pride?
Yeah, absolutely. Tonka Pride really gears most of their items toward our younger sizes and younger kids, but we do have some adult sizes. So we have sweatshirts and t-shirts, we have bags. This year at the homecoming or our fall back to school sale next week, we're going to have we have a new Tonka necklace that we're featuring. So there's a little bit of jewelry. It's a lot of fun. New apparel. We have long sleeve shirts. Really, and if anybody needs a uniform exchange, we will be there with your gym uniform. So anybody can come in and exchange a gym uniform in case that size didn't fit.
Maggie, how about at the booster store?
So thank you. It's very similar to what Tonka Pride carries, but we tend to go towards the older kids as well as adults. We do have a small section for the youngsters, but it's sweatshirts, t-shirts, we have golf shirts, we have jackets, we have vests, we have hats, we have winter hats, and we have mittens in this year, the choppers with the M logo, so we're very excited about that. Mugs, cups, scarves. So yeah, we have a lot.
Well, as we get near the end, you mentioned sales. What's the next date for a sale for the Tonka Pride?
Yep, Tonka Pride will have their first fall sale next week. We're Friday 3 to 7 at the District Service Center, which is the building next to Clear Springs. And then we're open Saturday the 16th, and that is 8 to 1. So that's our big fall sale. It's a lot of fun. Come early. Gear can sell out, so it's a great way to get your gear for the homecoming parade and game.
And is there a sale around homecoming at the booster store?
So yes, well, in addition to being open 11 to 2 during school hours, we will be open every Thursday from 5 to 7. through September to prepare for homecoming. And then the night of the homecoming parade, we will have a pop-up sale just outside of the Excelsior Brewery. We'll bring gear down there and sell it at that point as well.
Awesome. Our time's almost up. Anything that I forgot to ask that you want to share?
If you're going to the homecoming parade, keep an eye out for the Tonka Pride float. We have a float every year in the parade, which highlights the kids from, they are typically the parent volunteers' children. So every school gets an opportunity to ride on the float, and they wear their Tonka Pride gear. It's really fun to see. So that's a great, that's a really fun activity to go to Excelsior and see the homecoming parade. But we're always looking for volunteers. Talk to your school PTA or PTO. Maybe they're looking for a Tonka Pride rep, or reach out to Tonka Pride. We'd love to have people.
And so I would say the same. We, after watching the parade and seeing the Tonka Pride float go by, come on over to Excelsior Brewery and we'll have a lot of gear out there for sale for the game. So yeah, we'd love to see it, and yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that our community, if you didn't hear anything else, for both of these organizations, when you purchase through them, their fundraisers right back to student organizations or parent and school organizations that comes right back to your students. So it's different from purchasing someplace else. You're investing in student programming or in student clubs and activities. So thank you both for your volunteer part in both those organizations. I'm impressed as a newer superintendent here. It's been great. So as we close, I want to thank each of you for taking time to connect with us and share about your parent groups and all they're doing to build a community spirit. Thanks for all you do. And thank you to all of you who joined us here today on Ahoy, Minnetonka. We'll see you again soon.